September the 8th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at ABC News, Channel 7. I think they're in Los Angeles. And you've got the line fire there, what it's called, LINE. Last night, it was at about 7,000 acres. Now it's exploded to 17,236 acres with 0% containment. Very dry weather there. And it looks like this is almost creating its own little section of weather itself from the heat. It's very dry. They're saying the three main conditions for these fires to expand rapidly are there. A lot of fuel, dry brush, no rain, and mountainous regions. And so it's very difficult to get in there. But some of the areas, we'll look at that. Again, you go to Channel 7, ABC News, and check it out because there's a lot of evacuation orders, and that's going to change. It says firefighters are battling a brush fire near Highland that has grown to more than 17,400 acres. And this is an update. The line fire is forcing evacuations and road closures as it burns in dry brush and high heat. As there's also reports that thousands of Californians have lost power during the heat wave. Now, we're not talking about just the fire, but the heat wave itself. And I'm just going to go back to yesterday, some of the information that was coming out. Again, here, Saturday was 7,100 acres. But the evacuations are all of Running Springs, all of Arrow Bear Lake, the area east of Orchard Road to Clover Hill, from Highland Avenue north to the foothills in Highland. But guys, that was at a 7,000 acre fire. Some of the information coming in is showing that, again, it's over 10,000 more acres since this time. So the evacuations will be much wider. And just like I said when I looked at this on satellite, the officials say the blaze was generating its own weather conditions as pyrocumulus, also known as fire clouds, formed overhead. The National Weather Service has some 3,700 lightning strikes were recorded in the clouds and more than 270 lightning strikes on the ground, which had the potential to ignite new blazes. And I think there's another one starting behind there. We're going to look at it, and it's, again, 9:44 here, so it's much earlier in L.A. Thunderstorms were creating downdrafts, which were pushing the blaze in unpredictable directions, according to Chris Prater with San Bernardino County Fire. Firefighters are fighting a very tough battle, Prater said. They're fighting in 100-plus degree temperatures, very steep terrain, and some new weather conditions today with thunderstorms that came in. And let's look at this map just a second. This is your evacuation warning areas here, and here. This is Molino, Highland. This is San Bernardino in this area, guys. Evacuation warnings here. This is Running Springs and Arrow Bear Lake in this area of L.A. It's right very close to the border. We'll take a look at that. Now, I think these are the latest evacuation orders and warnings, but it says the area from Cal del Rio to Highway 38, including north of Green Sport Road. All undeveloped land east of Highway 330 to Summer Trail Place and north of Highland Avenue. Now, guys, if you've got friends in that part of California, it's still early. They call them, make sure they're aware of the evac orders and the current updates. It says areas of Running Spring east of Highway 330, south of Highway 18, the communities of Running Springs and Arrow Bear Lake, the area east of Orchard Road to Clover Hill, from Highland Avenue north to the foothills, north of Highland Avenue and east of Palm Avenue to Highway 330. The evacuation warnings, neighborhoods east of Church Street, north of Highland Avenue. Neighborhoods east of Weaver, north of Green Spot to the Iron Bridge. Green Valley Lake, Cedar Glen, Lake Arrowhead, Crestline, and Valley of Enchantment. Now, Highway 330 is closed in both directions from Baseline Street, Interstate 210 in Highland, and Highway 18 in Running Springs. Road closures are in place for Baseline Street from Fairwood to Brockwood for fire operations. Orantia Park off Green Spot Road is also closed to the public. An evacuation shelter for those affected has been set up at Emmanuel Baptist Church, and this is located at 28355 Baseline Street. Animals can be taken to DeVore Animal Shelter, located at 19777 Shelter Way. Now, let's zoom right down on this area from our satellites in space. Here is the fire. We're going to back it out because it's covering a lot of North Arizona with smoke, and you guys are probably having a very bad air quality day. I also want to point out something. As before the sun comes up here, you see this spot right here. Some smoke coming from it as the sun rises. But again, I'm not sure if everyone's aware of that fire being this early with all the attention on this section here. And the fire's under this, and this is the weather it is creating, some of the only moisture in the air, and it's some up in the higher altitudes. If it would just rain back down on those, it would help. But you got a lot of lightning and dry fuel. Again, this black spot is showing up as a heat signature, and it is definitely producing smoke. Now let's back this out just a moment, and this will give you a much better idea of what we're talking about. Again, here are the power clouds that they were talking about, called fire clouds. And look at the smoke coming off this thing. The Grand Canyon would be under this image, if I'm not mistaken, or under these smoke clouds. And these white clouds, again, are the fire clouds. This section right there, again, is showing up as a very big hot spot. And with the conditions that you have now, any fire is very important. So, guys, again, if you've got friends or family in this area, make sure they are aware. Call them now, wake them up, it doesn't matter. It's better to be aware of what's happening. And also, you guys in Arizona, this is very close. And look at the wind patterns are moving to the east. But that's a lot of smoke right there to just come up. But that's 17,400 acres worth of smoke. Backing out again, Arizona is here, New Mexico is here. New Mexico, you're about to get some of the smoke coming in toward you. I guess this is Interstate 40 that runs across this area through Albuquerque and over through Arizona. And you probably got a lot of smoke over anybody that's traveling on that interstate in Arizona right now, making it a very dim or yellow sunrise. Let's go back even further. And what we're seeing, guys, as the sun is rising over the U.S. and Canada, a lot of smoke is being accumulated through this area and pushed down with that front here into the U.S. See this right there? All of you guys below Lake Michigan, around it, you're getting smoke now. Here in the Northeast, you may be getting some much-needed rain. And look what's happening if you think about it. Here's a storm. We're going to look at that in the updates on it that's brewing in the Gulf. But this system that's been setting offshore for 2 or 3 weeks now is just about completely pushed off. Florida, you still have some of it coming across you here, but it's clear here in central Mississippi. Louisiana and Texas, looks like you're getting a break from it too. It's not going to last that long, just remember that. But all of this moisture is being pulled into this rotating low pressure system here. Check that out. So it all is interconnected. But at this feeding, and it's, again, this time of the year, any rain you can get is very good. Florida, I hope you're getting some. We'll switch to the infrared in just a moment. But I was just looking at the fire still in Oregon and Idaho, still smoke coming through there. And it looks like you've got some somewhere in the western sections of Canada coming in here. And you can see here the fire that's in Southern California has started to create some moisture that's in that smoke. You also have some moisture pushing up to where you needed it for several days because of the fires in this area. But look down here in the Gulf. That's what's brewing. Got a couple of other storms out there they're watching. They're not really a threat to the U.S. at this time. But this could become a tropical storm and maybe a hurricane. We'll just have to wait and see how the front is moving. You can see everything's moving to the right. And the models have moved, again, more from coming into the Texas-Louisiana border at Sabine Pass into Louisiana. Let's take a look at those. as we look at this over the Gulf, we're going to go to the models, but I wanted to come in here and look at this close just before we do it while we're on this map. You can see this rotation of the storm that's been setting out there, giving us all this rain. So it's going to combine with this strengthening storm here. I don't know how it will affect either storm yet, but it looks like it's going to strengthen, again, moving up into the northern Gulf states. And going into the infrared quickly, you can see Mexico, you're getting a lot of rain. I hope you guys need it. This has been a dry couple of years for many places. And you can see the higher thunderstorms here. And in the rotation, everything's to the right side of it, again, being blown to the north and northeast. Florida, you're getting some sprinkles, light showers here. This area right here may be a little stronger as it's coming in. But all of this is going to move north. And this is our 7-day forecast. We now have a 90% chance of cyclone formation here in the next 7 days. You've got a 50% chance of the system here that's not been marked, that they're waiting to form. Pretty sure it's going to be a storm, 50% chance. And here, a 60% chance of this storm right there. If that continues in this direction, we'll have a problem. But I think there's going to be some breaks in the high pressure area that may allow some of this to turn north. Right here is where we need to focus our attention now. And this was at 8:50 a.m. Eastern time this morning. This model is 2 minutes old. Came out 11 a.m. Eastern. It is 10:02 a.m. Central as we're looking at this. The purple line right here is the Navy model, showing it coming in very close to central, or the central part of southern Louisiana right there. And if it does that, then the stronger storms will be to the right of it in that northeast quadrant. The CMC kind of came out here and did a little turn and backed out of any further plots on it at this time. They may be waiting to upgrade because we have seen a drift to the west, or excuse me, to the east, because remember, initially it looked like it would come into the Houston, Louisiana border area right there. Now, this is the Navy model, the wide Atlantic one. You can see the two storms in the back. Not showing much on those at this point, but the storm we're focusing on right here, and it shows it coming in, strengthening, and coming up through central Louisiana and up the Mississippi River Valley for quite a ways there. Watch it again. Right there, and that's the 15th. Now, let's stop it just before it's going to come ashore. Right there, that is the 12th. Let's go back one day because you'll need a day of prep. So it's going to start getting close. You're going to start seeing a lot of weather move up through this area back on the 11th. There's the 10th. Again, we are on the 8th. That's exactly what we're going to be seeing as it moves forward. We're getting to the point where the models are not going to change that much as far as direction. But intensity may be a different story. Back through here, right there is the 11th, 12th, setting over basically the northeast quadrant is setting over our area of central Mississippi. As it moves ashore, of course, it's going to start weakening some, but this is where it's located. But the out front areas will already be saturated, and the northeast quadrant is the most dangerous. And just kind of, let's back that up one more time, give you an idea of the right section as we come back forward. Right there. Central Mississippi, goes up the Mississippi River. Tennessee, you're in the stronger side of the storm. At this point, coming ashore, we've seen where the tornadoes will follow these and pull a moisture train up out of the Gulf, trailing the center of circulation. Now let's go to the Canadian model of the Atlantic. Pretty much same track, except this one's coming in over Galveston Bay right there. Notice that? And that would put the Sabine area back into the flooding situation in the storm itself. But remember, the spaghetti model that just came out has the CMC model stopping right in here. I'm sure that will be in the next update this afternoon. But either way, this area looks like this where the storm's going to come in. and the center of circulation always has the strongest winds right around it. So we'll start to notice that the Canadian model coming in here and the Navy model there, all of this will start merging maybe by this afternoon late. But guys, we're watching this. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.